Bayless. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
Here we go. Russell Westbrook about to have a big night tonight in San Antonio as he takes over the Lakers and L.A. from your deposed king. This is going to be a joy to watch.
He's going to have a quadruple double with turnovers.
He will. He will. I've got him for 10 turnovers tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I saw you tweeting about that when you got up early this morning, Skip. You're ready to go. Shannon's ready to go. Oh, and Tom Brady was ready to go last night as he appeared on Peyton and Eli Manning's simulcast of Monday Night Football and cracked jokes with the two QBs all evening. However, one comment of his got a big reaction, both out of Peyton and Twitter during the game. Take a listen for yourself.
Have you ever been in some of those defensive meeting rooms? I mean, you wonder why they play defense, and after about 2 minutes, you go, yep, they can never be an offensive player. So, you know, defense is kind of like a dog chasing a car. You know, just get the guy with the ball. So, you know, obviously we had a lot of great defensive players.
I'm sure Antoine Winfield really appreciates those comments for sure. So tell me how that conversation goes at breakfast in the morning.
Shannon, how surprised were you that he said this?
I'm not surprised at all, but Peyton he has the great comeback. He's like, yeah, let me know how that conversation works out for you tomorrow morning, Skip. Yeah. I'm not surprised because quarterbacks don't think anybody is as smart as they are. They feel, and they do, Skip. I'm not going to poo-poo that. I understand what a quarterback, I've been in meeting with John. I understand what he has to go through, has to call the plays, knows the defense, knows where he's supposed to one read, two read, where he's supposed to.
But you were an offensive player.
I was an offensive player, yes, absolutely. But he said the same thing about Gronk. Gronk, you play tight end. It's not that hard. Get open, catch ball, run with the ball. You're not calling plays. So this is what he thinks. Most quarterbacks think, and because he's comfortable. Skip, what I've noticed since I've had my own podcast, when people get around me, they feel comfortable around me, they'll open.
True.
They'll open up more.
True.
Just even with Tom, when I did you remember the draft, he felt comfortable around other NFL guys.
He did.
Tom, which would you rather have? Would you take the victory or you give a Super Bowl ring to be undefeated? What? That's no question. So, Skip, when guys get around, he's comfortable around Peyton. I believe he's more comfortable around Peyton than he is Eli. But it's another quarterback. A guy played at a very high level. And so I can open up. I can be myself. And so, he's probably going to tell it, man, I was just joking. That's TV, just entertaining. I think you guys are very, very smart. It's a lot that you guys have to do. Yeah. And they do, Skip, because guys that really study, they understand formations. They understand the route combination that teams like to run out of those formations, split, align, adjustment. And so those things, so I'm not going to say it's just dog chasing a car, Skip. I'm not going to go as far as Tom did. But what we're starting to see, from the moment that he says, bye-bye Patriots, bye-bye Boston, bye-bye New England, whatever you want to say, he's been a different player. Be it social media, he's been more forthcoming. He's not as hesitant to discuss what's actually on his mind and say what he's actually thinking. Although he can still guard his skip. Now, he's not going to just, but there have been times you're like, Tom, you would have never said that in New England. You would have never done that in New England. And I think people are very excited to see this. Skip, at some point in time, people want to see that you're kind of like the rest of us. You have emotion, you'll say things and you'll do things. It's kind of like the rest of us. He was so buttoned up for 20 years in New England. People like, he's boring. Come to find out, nah, he's not as boring as you thought he was. It was just that he was in a situation that was frowned upon. He didn't want to ruffle the head coach's feathers. He was thought of as the leader, and he knew that if he did it, everybody else would want to do it, and Coach Belichick would frown upon it. So he told the company line he was the good soldier, kept everybody else in place for Coach Belichick to do the Patriot way. But now that he's been in Tampa, Tom Brady has not changed. This is who he's always been. He's just getting an opportunity to be more forthcoming and to show the world this is who he is.
I cannot tell you how much I disagreed with every point you just made.
Okay.
Obviously, you are not a Brady fan. I am one of the biggest.
Okay.
And my message to Tom right here, right now is no. What are you thinking? Do you know how hard it is to dominate this sport at age 44, which he is doing as we speak? He's got 21 touchdown passes to lead the National Football League against only 3 interceptions.
Okay.
Pro Football Focus still ranks him grading-wise. Number 1 overall through 7 weeks of the season.
In the weekend.
Why would you suddenly, to your first point, let your hair down, so to speak, and let your guard down, so to speak, and blurt out a shocking shot at all defensive players? I got to tell you, I was watching this kind of like this, like, okay, because he was mostly guarded until that moment, and it just came out of nowhere, and he went, as they say, he kept it 100, like keep it 100, and all of a sudden he's got 99 more problems.
Yes.
Because if I play defense at a high level in this league, and I heard that, it would really tick me off. And he has been less hateable in Tampa because he's been more open and funny on Instagram. And all of a sudden, you went there?
Yes. But
defensive players are like dogs who chase cars. It's like the ultimate shot at all defensive players I've ever heard. And then he tried to amend it at the very end.
So
obviously, there's some great defensive players out there. He tried to throw that in at the end just to
But you're just great because you have athletic ability. It's not because you understand the game or you study film.
Have you guys been in any defensive meetings? And I don't know how many defensive meetings Tom has actually been in. But he acts like if you go in a defensive meeting, they're speaking caveman, like right, and that they're beneath his football IQ, and he's acting like it's really not that hard to pick them to pieces because they have no idea what they're doing. They're just dogs chasing cars, right? So I was amazed that he would go there out of nowhere, and yet to your point, you do podcasts, and you have found that over time that athletes with ex-athletes and ex-athletes or current and ex, whichever way, there's a trust factor where you finally feel like, okay, I got this. I can actually speak real to him, right?
That is correct.
And if I'm interviewing somebody, it's like, he's gonna come after me. He's gonna. I got to be careful. I got to guard. Right. Okay. So there's also this operating where, even though Tom wants to be Peyton's friend, I don't think Peyton is his friend. Every time I see Peyton on any sort of TV platform, he's always taking shots at Tom that don't come off as good-natured to me. And I know he's a kidder by nature and all that, but it comes off as a little bit sarcastic, a little bit bitter, and a little bit jealous. And remember, Peyton's only a year and a half older than Tom, and it feels like Peyton's been gone for what? Forever, since that last Super Bowl.
So it's 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And it's just eating at him. And he'd already taken a shot earlier in the telecast last night, and they do a great job. It's fun to watch. I know you don't keep the sound up.
I don't watch it.
Okay, so. I got it. I go back and forth between the two, but I enjoy the banter between Peyton and Eli because it's brotherly, and they can go at each other. But Peyton had already taken an earlier shot at Tom. I'm just paraphrasing, but it was something like, Tampa throws every down, so he's going to have 100 touchdown passes this year, which is kind of your view, right?
Yes.
And that's eating Peyton up. That, well, this is just cake for them. They're just throwing it, and they get in the red zone, and they just throw it until he finally gets another touchdown pass from 2 yards away.
Correct.
And it smacks of some jealousy because against Peyton, Tom was 11-6, and I know Peyton got him in the postseason.
The last 3 times.
The last 3 times. But obviously, Eli, he just is happy-go-lucky on this telecast. He just goes along for the ride because, to me, he's always just like in bliss. Just nothing seems to bother him, and that's how he played football. Nothing. He led the league in interceptions 3 times, and nothing bothered him because he beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
And that's the thing. Eli's sitting back like, why do y'all say it was so hard to beat Tom in the playoffs? I've never lost to him. It's not that hard.
Not that hard.
So that's how Eli's thinking. So he's just sitting back there chilling, Skip.
Yeah. Okay. So in the end, I don't think that remark did Tom any good. Because 44 is hard enough without just spilling that out. And I think he's going to live to regret that. I don't think the Saints will like that. And the Saints had Demario Davis was on ESPN after the game saying, talking about we wear our hard hats and we play. We defend every blade of grass out there. Well, this is the kind of thing that for a guy like that, that's going to set him off.
Yeah, but Skip, you disagree with my point. But what you're actually saying, you agree with my point that quarterbacks actually think that they're smarter than everybody else.
I got that, especially him.
Right.
But you cannot say that publicly.
But I'm saying he said it because he was around someone that he's comfortable saying it around.
But the question was, how surprised are you that he said it? I'm shocked that he said it because he has always worked so hard not to say anything.
He has, but Skip, if he'd have been in New England, he'd have never uttered this. But remember, Skip, now all of a sudden he said it's easy to play quarterback.